So this lesson we're going to be looking at a number of ways to work with strings and to capitalize the string values using some of the built-in JavaScript functions within Google Apps Script, taking in parameter 1 from string 1 and parameter 2 from string 2, combining them together and uppercasing, capitalizing the first word, and then joining them back together and concatenating them together. So that's all coming up in this lesson. Open up your Google Sheet, and in this case what we're going to be doing, we're going to be concatenating two strings together. So we've got the string 1 and the string 2, and we're going to create a formula within Sheets that is going to allow us to concatenate both those values together. And then we also want to capitalize. So doing a camel case where we've got the hello is going to be capitalized and the world is going to be capitalized. We'll bring those both into one word. And that's creating a function within the apps script editor, and you can access the script editor under extensions, apps script, and then create a function. So this function, just give it a name. We can call it concat and underscore cap. So it's going to require the two parameters. So it's going to be the first string and the second string. Creating a value. So this is going to be the concatenated value. So the value from the string 1 and concat. So we're using the JavaScript function to concat and concatenate it to string 2. And then what we want to do is, as well, we want to convert the values to uppercase. So taking the value and we're going to convert it to uppercase. So take the concatenated value. That should be concat value. And taking the character of character at position 0 and transform that to uppercase. So we're just using the regular JavaScript function. And for now, what we'll do is we'll return back what we've got there for concat value. So this is going to be the formula that we're using. Go to the cell that you want to use the formula, add in the formula, and then do the brackets. And then within the brackets, we're going to select the first parameter and then the second parameter, and then go press equal sign. So what's happened here is that we still have the quotes around it. So, but it did bring those together, and it didn't uppercase because we don't have a value to uppercase. So we want to remove out the quotes around the words, or we can just have the words by themselves. So let's clean this up, where we'll take the contents of the cells, where we'll find the quotes, and then we'll just replace it with the blank. So that will clean up the sheet and clean up some of the wording. And we'll drag that down so that we can get the formula across all of them. So what it's doing right now is it's just concatenating the two strings together. So we want to make some updates to it, where we're selecting out and create a variable for first letter. And that's going to be the concatenated uppercase value of the string. So let's update that. So it's getting the H, the G, the P for Python. So that's all coming in properly. And then we want to select the value for the rest of the string. So taking those values, and let's get rest values. And then taking the concat value, we're going to slice the first item out of the concatenated value. And then add these two together. And we'll see what we get now for the results. So now we're getting the results there. So what happens if this one is uppercase? So it'll stay uppercase. So if you wanted to change that, we can set those to lowercase. And this is just a regular JavaScript function. So that will fix the uppercase part of that. You can also change some of these values as well. So if we want to have the first value of string to uppercase, we can do that as well, where we've got the string 2. So you can just use the uppercase and the lowercase and taking the first character value. So let's add a little bit more there, where if we want to do like a uppercase of both of the words, and regardless of what the current case is. So let's set up the value for string A. And this is going to just take the string 1 value. So using the same that we've just used, take the character at and get the first value there. And then we want to transform that to uppercase. So it's going to take that first value, and we want to get the remainder of the string. And in this case, it's easier just to make a function where we can uppercase the first letter and then return back the rest of the values. So take in a value, and then we're going to do this to the value and then just return it back. So that way we can just have the one function that will manage the rest of the values. And we can copy out quite a bit of what we've done within the first function there. So we're taking the first value, or whatever the value is, taking the character, and then we're going to be getting the remainder of the values, slicing them at 1, and transforming those to lowercase, and then just simply returning it back. Or you could really simplify this just with the one statement, where we've got the rest of the values, and this is going to be going to lowercase. So this will clean up, and it'll do all of the stuff that we had there within those functions. I'll just make a quick copy of this function, and we'll just call it 2. So that was our original function that we were using. And now this is the new and improved, updated version of the function, where we've got the upperMe function that we're using, and that's going to take in the value of string 1. And then we're going to have the second string value, so that will be string B, and take in the value of string 2. And then we're going to just simply concatenate those values together. So take concatenate A and B together, and we can get removing out this. And we can also remove out that other variable, where we're just simply going to be returning back those concatenated versions. And in this case, what we can do is we can do some debugging here and get the value, and then run a test function. And this is usually my preferred way to do the debugging, where we'll run a test function, and we'll have a value there, and then pass the value into the upper, and we'll see what that produces within the console. You can also run this within the debugger to see the different values that you have. So we're getting the value being passed in, but the character at is not a function. That's because there's a misspelling there. So that should be CHR instead of CHT. So run that again, and then now it should be working. When we go out here, that now we've got the uppercase for the first letters, and we're just using that function. So even if we had just different case here, it would still fix it and have it as the uppercase. So depending on what you want to do for your output, you can really customize these formulas within Google Sheets. So go ahead and try it out for yourself.